Welcome back, everybody, to the Carolina Sea Hornets channel. Today I wanted to do a product review of some of the tools that I use to catch lobsters and to do my diving. So we're going to talk about the Life League Lobster Snare here. This is a lobster snare that I've dove with only 6 times now. This is probably my favorite lobster snare out of about 4 snares that I've used over 15 years of diving. One of the things that I love is the handle. The way that they have this handle designed, to me, is perfect because you're able to put this trigger snap on the end of it and be able to hook it onto your D-ring so that you don't have to hold on to this thing. One of the pluses about it is that they have this trigger here, and you can choose to either have it permanently locked or have it like a regular lobster snare, where you can choose it where the lock is off and it just goes in or out, just like your old school type snares used to do. I keep mine locked on because when I cinch down on this, I don't want to be able to have that lobster come off. If you ever want it to come off, what you do is you hold on to the trigger here and then it'll let it go in. Now, I will say that there is a bit of an issue with the way that this locks, because when you go to cinch down on a lobster, they will flap their tail trying to get free. And the first 4 lobsters that I tried to snare with this, 2 of them got free. And so what I was doing was I cinched down on it and immediately let go to hold on to this handle so that I could grab the lobster with this other hand. And what happened is they would just immediately come out of this, and somehow this did not lock good enough to keep them from coming free. So one thing that I've learned is that when I go to cinch down on this, I will hold it right here with both hands just like this until they're done flapping. And then I'll do like I've always done on my other snares and hold the pressure down on them and move my hands to where I've got my hand here and I can get my hand on the lobster. Now the other issue that I've had with this is that this little rubber piece here moves. And what that can do is that can cause this to not be able to cinch down as tightly as it possibly could before. So like if I've got it like this is how far it's going to cinch. If I hold it right here like this and I cinch down further, that is how little you can get that cinch down that little hole there. Now, what I want to compare this to is the Mako lobster snare. And when it comes to being able to have the smallest hole there, the tightest cinch down on a lobster, Life League has won it for sure. This is about the tightest you can get this snare to come down. However, I will say that I do like this snare too. If you ever want to be able to catch a lobster one-handed, this thing is pretty neat because it's spring-loaded. And so you can sit here and compress it like this, hold it with one hand, and if you've got to do something with this hand, you can catch it just like that. There you go. So all you got to do is just simply let go, and it cinches right down on those lobsters. This snare probably weighs twice as much as the Life League. It's not as durable. As you can see, this thing is bent considerably. It also has issues where the lobsters will come out of the snare when you first catch them, just like the Life League snare. I probably dove with this snare about 30 times now. I want to say that the ratio on how many I've caught versus lost on the Life League versus Mako, I've caught a better ratio with the Life League. So this is probably going to be the one that I use for a majority of the season this year. But with that being said, I mean, both of them are great snares. My favorite, Life League for sure. One thing I hope that they'll be able to make a change on this is that they can improve this locking mechanism so that the lobsters cannot come free. Also, I feel that on this little tubing piece here, they might want to find some kind of a way to just have it where it's already right here at all times. Maybe put some kind of a clamp right here, something to where this thing really can't move like it does now. Another downfall issue, as you can see, there's a crimp. I've got the steel line instead of the plastic line, and somehow I have a crimp forming in this. But that also leads me to another positive on this, is that these, from what I've read, are replaceable. You can actually buy these lines, take this apart, and simply just replace the lines whenever they go bad. And this one, they've got a few different models where you've got, I think, monofilament line, and then you've got the steel cable line. And then they've got a thicker version of the monofilament line. It's either monofilament or plastic, something that's not steel cable. And so you can choose which one you want. But either way, this is a great unit. Now, the other fun tool that I want to talk about is the Scubajet. I have gone 15 years now diving without the scooter of any kind. I've seen the Yamaha scooters. They're big and bulky. They don't last as long. They're overpriced. Yamaha kind of, fell behind the way. And here you have companies like Scubajet that are coming up and taking the market share. So me and a friend of mine, we decided this year we're going to try and use these scooters. And so he actually bought one by Lafitte. I bought one by Scubajet. I got the 2 battery model. They sell these in 1, 2, or 3 or 4 battery models. I think it's like 1, 2, or 4 is the way they do it. This is a considerably heavy unit. I want to say it's lighter than the Yamaha. It's more compact. It's got lithium-ion batteries. These things are fun. But the issues that I've had with them is easy fixes, I would hope. And I hope Scubajet will see this and take this into consideration. But whenever you have to take the battery out, you have to use this little tab. And it's a cheap plastic tab that broke on the first try. I've only used this thing like 5 times. This is already broken. I've gotten to the point that I have to use a pair of pliers to pull this out. Otherwise, I would injure my finger trying to get that out with the way it would cut me. The other thing too is that the first day that I dove with this, I did 2 dives with it. The second day I dove with this, I did 3 dives with it. That first day, I never turned it off the whole day. We did my first dive. I think I hit all the way down to 50% in the battery. But I was also using it around 100% full speed. And one of the things I noticed on the second day of diving is you really want to keep this at around 40 to 45%. Anything past that is just pointless. I mean, you're just drag racing under the water and there's no need for any of that. But one thing I noticed is that if you leave it on, even though you're not using it, the battery somehow is getting used considerably to the point that, by the second dive on the first day, when I was just coming up and finishing my ascent, I had 0% in that battery. Whereas the second day, I would turn it off between dives, and like I said, I was using it around 40% instead of 100%, and it actually lasted all 3 dives, and at the end of the day, I had around 40% on the battery. One of the other things I like about this too is these controllers that control these units are Bluetooth wireless. So you can use a wristband controller, you can use the dual hand controller, you could use this as a single hand controller, which I don't recommend it, especially if you put it on a speed higher than 50%, unless you want to feel this thing rip out of your hand. But this little controller here will tell you the depth of the where you're at in the water. It'll tell you the temperature of the water. It'll tell you your battery percentage and your thrust percentage as far as, how much power is this thing going to be putting out. One of the other things about this is I wish they would use a beefier clasp here, because this has came off twice now. And luckily I didn't lose it to the bottom of the ocean, but I did notice that before that happened. I added this trigger snap here on mine, and so I clip it off to a D-ring and that allows me to be able to go hands-free or pick it up whenever I need it. and be able to go wherever I need to go. And you'll see in some of my future videos, you'll hear it. I'll be using it, and then, I mean, it makes diving a lot easier. I noticed a significant difference in air consumption when I did a dive where I was using this a majority of the time versus my feet, my legs. But yeah, anyways, so that concludes my product overview, my product review of these two items. And hopefully I look forward to doing more of these later this season. I've got one other item I'm going to buy. I'm looking to hunt some lionfish more this year than I did last year. So I'm looking at a particular couple of different products to, facilitate that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.